Yeah, I did save... Well, can't exactly save scum. I actually had to start a fresh game in order to get back to the point where I could talk to Thomas Elwood again. And I did find his medical file. And this time for... Let's see. Here we are. No, that's lore documentation. Here we are. TL was medical file. And yeah, it was just that for whatever reason it didn't load and... Huh. Yeah, they actually hand wrote everything on here. Except for the Dr. Tippets? Oh yeah. Oh no, followed by Dr. Tippets.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Dragonbane? What? Why? This ancient sword with the Latin phrase engraved on the blade had been forged in Wales during the 6th century and belonged to Paulus Aurelianus, founder of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole. Okay, explains why it's here then. Legend says he had this blade forged before he chose the path of exile and left England with his people. Dragonbane has been passed to each new primate of the Brotherhood. It may have been used in secret ceremonies, when a primate was sent on a path of war to defeat a hostile creature. The sacred sword was supposedly lost during the schism between the Brotherhood and the Guard of Prywin in the middle of the 19th century. It seems a few copies may have been made, but this is the true and original Dragonbane. Gee, I wonder which one I should use for my melee weapon. Admittedly, the hacksaw would be kind of an interesting choice, I think. Okay. Oh. District lost. If a district's health status drops below the critical threshold, it will plunge into chaos. What? Okay, not sure why I just swapped clothing there. Article on econs. It is a rare opportunity and almost a privilege to approach Vampyr, to observe their most intriguing physical and psychological traits with a scientific and rational eye. Here are some of the most fascinating abilities I've personally observed over the last 10 years while interviewing a few vampires, or econ, as they prefer to call themselves. Supernatural speed. A vampire can act and move like a mortal in all his actions, but the trained eye will spot that they have the keenest senses and can react quicker than any mortal. On a few occasions, alarm, surprise, necessity to flee, I have seen a vampire move so quickly it is almost as if he had vanished just to reappear somewhere else. The human eye cannot follow their movements, and when they act so quickly, but it is not a teleport or dematerialization. It is only a supernatural speed. For me, it is a cat-like attribute, which allows them to run, dodge, or jump longer and faster than us. I also notice that such speed seems to exhaust them, and that they are bound to physical limitations. Mesmerism. Okay, there we go. One of the most powerful abilities a vampire can deploy is the capacity to force a mortal to obey them. I call this trait mesmerism, but it has nothing to do with the mortal ability to alter a subject's mental state. A vampire can bend a mortal to their will, and they can even break a mind. A vampire I interviewed even told me the more a subject tries to resist, the more permanent the damage will be, as if the vampire could literally fracture their target's psyche. The same vampire explained to me that this ability required time to master, and that the result could vary widely from one subject to another. Implant a false memory, erase a painful one, the possibilities are endless, and frightening. This may be the most catastrophic ability of all concerning vampires, since it is the cause of so many tragedies for them and us. Vampires crave for blood. They must use their will to restrain themselves from frenziedly drinking every drop of blood they see. They need blood to function and to express their full supernatural traits. A famished vampire can be very weak, even if he cannot die of hunger or thirst. This urge, this need for blood, may explain why a vampire is so aroused by it. The vampire confessed to me that blood could sometimes blind him, since its smell and attractiveness can be so strong. When he focuses, a vampire can almost see blood all around them. Inside warm bodies, through walls, on a supposedly clean weapon, etc. The same vampire even told me that he can see if a mortal has clean blood or is ill, and that in some cases he can even sense diseases, infected clothes, or even items in a room. If this is true, it could have so many medical applications it almost beggars belief. This has to be written by Dr. Sewan? Or by the administrator.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Okay, can I actually get water? That'd be my question. Okay, so I am doing the physical prowess. Let's see, blood capacity I think was the other one. And I'll do coagulation. Oh, science I could have gone with. The following night. Okay, and the reason I actually came inside and needed to start the stream again was that I realized, well, I hadn't leveled up in, like, prior to that, so the vampires outside in the garden that I needed to take down kinda would have kicked my ass. I think they were like level 7, if I recall right. Yep, vampires in the garden. Here we go. Oh, that tingles. Oh boy. Ow, damn it. Okay. Milton and Peppa forever. Oh! And he is around here somewhere. I actually avoided talking to him prior to the stream because I didn't want to do something without... trying to think of how to formulate the thought there. But yeah, I didn't want to... Oh. Quarantine. Contagious disease. One shall enter or leave quarantine without written of the local health authority. An authorized employee of the shall alter, destroy, or remove this card. Violating this regulation will be fined. But yeah, I deliberately avoided speaking to Milton, even though I actually saw him out front, as well as... There was a patient behind a door that I didn't have access to before that the door was open on, but again, I didn't actually access it because I didn't want to do that while not streaming. Aren't I so thoughtful? Let's see.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
Gee, can't imagine where. Okay.
Over there!
Oh, okay. Kinda killed him anyway. Already read that one in the previous stream. So it's telling me that, oh, yeah, they kinda went, or their orders came from higher up, so I need to find the command post. Now, let's see if I can actually find Milton here this time. Yeah, I've done everything except speak to Thomas Elwood fully. There's Dr. Tippett. Hey, there's Milton.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
Quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Alrighty.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
And I will say, kudos for well, actually no, Britain was better on the integration front than the US was by a fair margin. Which is a little surprising considering, you know, the British Empire was a little more
So
oppressive.
what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, I offer them another way to protect their health.
And I'll freely admit that I was sorely tempted to kill off the Clayton Cox, because I actually got a better glimpse of what happened on this playthrough, where he stabbed a guy and dumped him in the ocean.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
And Monty Python immediately sprang to mind there.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the
Wait,
patients
which
here.
patient?
If a patient wants a bed... he'll
Oh,
have to pay me
yeah,
a
the
fee.
letter.
That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
Goodbye, Milton.
Yeah, I missed this particular one bringing up because, let's see. Here we are. Crumpled letter. Dear love, I finally found the missing money for the fee asked by the ambulance driver to bring you to the hospital. Don't worry about nothing now except getting better, for I took care of everything. I asked some of our neighbors, and they told me that this Mr. Hooks is something of an honest crook. He may ask for extra money in exchange for a bed, but the bed is then guaranteed. I'm sorry I refused to pay first, but I realize now that the important thing is that you get better soon. The Pembroke Hospital is a good place, I heard, despite the bad behavior of this Milton Hooks. I promise you that everything is okay now. I'll see you in your clean bed as soon as possible. With fondest love, Nikolai. And unfortunately, that was on a corpse in the back. So,
Good
yeah.
evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved
Yeah.
your wallet with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
No,
Not at all, Milton.
difference in
Good.
outlook for me.
Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as...
Oh, jeez. Milton and Nurse Hawkins are a couple.
you, Dr. Reed.
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
Fair enough.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running?
Fair enough.
There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
You know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna press you on that one.
Goodbye, Milton.
Okay, now time to talk to Pippa, see what she
I
has to
thought
say.
last summer's epidemic.
Oh. Huh. Okay, over by Thomas Elwood. And I'm really hoping that I don't mess things up on this one.
The daily routine.
It's locked.
Okay, so she's locked in there. Might be a vampiric patient then.
Good evening,
All
Mr.
right.
Elwood.
Evening.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas?
Now let's see
What
whether I
really
can actually
happened?
do this
I wasn't
correctly
disfigured
this
by any
time.
German shells.
Why lie about it?
Come on.
You can't hide forever, I think. Because surgery would be too optimistic.
You know you can't hide forever. One day you'll have to face your loved ones. Until that day, you have no chance of real recovery.
My friends all died in the trenches. It's shameful enough to be alive with these stupid scars. I don't want my children to see me like this.
Okay, thank God. And he has children, apparently.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with
Okay,
a
so
whore.
I do not have to save
you
Scum the
land.
Did
entire
you
thing.
start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No.
Kind of glad he
Just that I
hastened
was
to add
asleep
that as
when
opposed
the
to
flames reached the room.
having Thomas.
The girl was long
react.
gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
Okay, so personal questions.
You told me before you don't want your children to see you like this. Do you have any other family?
My sister Agatha has raised me nippers since their mother died.
Ah,
Don't want them to look at me like this.
Your sister's not a child. I'm sure she has nothing but respect for a wounded soldier, and you are her brother.
You don't know my sister Agatha. She may be young, but she's all discipline and morality. If she ever found out
Yeah.
what really happened.
She doesn't have to know.
She's a sly one, my sister. One day she'll find out the truth and knock 7 bells out of me. Nah. I'm better off here.
How could children despise their father injured in the war?
What do you think? They saw me. Once. My poor angels left the room crying. They keep on having nightmares every week, my sister told me.
oof. And that's it? Jeez.
Goodbye for now.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Okay.
Good evening, Miss Howard.
I need blood, Doctor. Warm.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you...
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Would you say you...
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire.
I'm really hoping I can...
Do you plan to make
Convince her
him
otherwise.
a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel.
As I said in the last one, you know, the fact that
Tell
she
me,
might be
Thelma,
mentally unstable,
what do you
but
really
she
know
still has a
about
moral code,
vampires?
which is good
I
to
saw
see.
one and he saw me. I watched him hunt and kill. I saw his terrible wounds heal as his victim died. And then I knew I was saved.
You mean you actually saw a vampire? Here in London?
Yes. And it has...
You could be in danger.
You have no idea what...
Why fear the truth? String.
Personal questions? Nope.
I'll leave.
Okay. And on that note, heading to bed. Haven't talked to Pippa Hawkins yet. So heading to... Oh! Dr. Swansea's message. Dear Jonathan, I asked Nurse Crane to secure an office for you on the 2nd floor. Please forgive the austere decoration, but Pembroke Hospital is not exactly the Ritz. Sorry to let you discover your office alone, but I need to sleep a little before going back to work. I'm just a mere mortal after all. I also gave orders to let you rest and for the staff to never enter your room. You will be able to sleep all day without being disturbed and work at night without raising any suspicion. I'm afraid the place is quite messy, but you'll be able to conduct your experiments here at your own pace. You'll also notice there is an open window with a scaffolding that will allow you to enter or exit the hospital without being noticed. I imagine how awfully new and disturbing this all must be for you. Believe me, I have studied enough of your species to understand what you must now be facing and feeling. Be assured I'll do whatever I can to help you in this ordeal. Know that you're not completely alone facing it. I'm glad I met you. these dark times we are all presently facing. Oh, these are dark times we are all presently facing. No, these are. I hope our future collaboration will yield great results. Welcome to Vampyr, my esteemed colleague. We shall talk soon. Okay. I left a copy of some of my notes concerning what I've discovered about Econ in the last few years. Feel free to read about it if you need some guidance, as long as you don't use this knowledge to take advantage of me. Oh boy. Alright. Take a little nappy nap. Well, I say nap, but... Granted, I've got to be able to make the serums first, but definitely want to have those be available. Tactical. Oh, okay. Now we're talking. Okay. Now, thank you all for joining me again, and I will see you later tonight for an actual full session. This was more kind of writing what once went wrong sort of thing for me. So I'll see you tonight.